dem Partner, besser kann es nicht sein.
Jemand aus dem Publikum hat früher gefragt, welche Stadt in Deutschland ist am smartesten?
3 gewinnt.
Okay, sehr gut. Herr Bürgermeister, vielen Dank.
Ja, gerne, vielen Dank.
Dankeschön. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Okay, we're going to continue now with our keynote speakers. Our next speaker is a familiar face here at the global conferences. He is the Senior Vice President, Managing Director, DellEMC Germany. Give a nice round of applause for Dinko Eror. Come on up, Dinko. It's good to see you.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So, can we do a short test? I can speak German, I can speak English. I want to be fair. Can everybody who is German speaking raise their hand? And then everybody, okay? And everybody English? Oh, okay. Do I have a clicker here somewhere? Hey, okie doke. Good, what do you see? You see me and my presentation. My name is really Dinko Eror. Is that not funny? To have a family name Error and to work in the IT industry. That's really good stuff, isn't it? I have 3 purposes for the presentation today. The first one is to bring some ideas, some provocative, innovative ideas. The second one is to share some examples, what I did in my life within my company, where the end customer has a benefit. And the third one, briefly at the end, is also to present a little bit my company, Dell Technologies, DellEMC. I was thinking, what is the main purpose of CeBIT? What is the main purpose of every company? What is the main purpose of my presentation? It's all about the customer. It's all about the customer experience. And there is one thing what we as a Dell Technologies are changing in our behavior. In the past, we were thinking a lot about our first contact. What our data center leader or the CIO or whoever needs from us. And we still care about it. But on top of that, we want to think what his end customer, whatever you are doing. If you are a car producer, we think about it what your end user wants from the connected car. If you are what I don't want to, you have to go to the hospital. We are thinking what our software and hardware has to do that you as a patient in the hospital get a better care. And then the word which we all hear is digitalization. We as a company, we say we are working more on the industrial revolution, but the digitalization is a part of that. And the question is that the magic? If I ask all of you, what do you think it is a digitalization? I guess many answers will be given. I give every day a different answer. What is a digitalization? I heard a very bad sentence. Somebody said, a shit process is also shit process if digitalized. Okay? Therefore, the question is, can the transformation be done as a magic through the digital world? And my answer is not alone. Only all of us together, we can do it. And that is maybe the main purpose of the CeBIT, to bring all of us together. If you look in the 50s and 60s, and we had a mainframe, and then everything was concentrated on one device. This time is over forever. We are working in a sophisticated ecosystem, and we all have to work together, back to my first slide, to serve the customer together. At the end of the day, a lot of things which we are preparing today collectively is running into the direction of the artificial intelligence as a basis for the next industrial revolution. And I really believe what is in front of us, what is in front of our kids, is very similar with the previous industrial revolutions. But there is one difference. I really believe it is very important to have analytics view on the things, but that's not enough. It's not enough only to have a left part of the brain. To be creative, to be artist in a science is the next level to make the society, to make the technology better. And we as a Dell Technologies want with all of you to make that happen. I assume many of you saw the sentence from the Fortune 500 countries on the list from the 2000. 52% gone, don't exist more. And the projection is, in the next 5 years, additional 40% will disappear from this list. Means within only 20 years, that's nothing. 92% of the companies disappeared. But at the same time, why is that happening? And that's not happening because we have fast computers that are the mental things changing in our brain. And there are a lot of studies, what we did as a company is proving that. And now we say that in a German, Hand aufs Herz. Can you really, as in a good old time, spend too long time on something? No, we are changing from one information to another one very fast. Our analysis is showing we cannot spend longer than 8 seconds on one information. But the second thing is we want to do the work everywhere. And that is where we as a company are coming with our client solutions and with our back-end solutions, really to help to make the life easier. I always make a joke with my wife. I'm spending more time with my laptop as with my wife. That's not good, that's not healthy, but that's the fact. And then I really believe we can change the things to better. And if you really look, and I will give you a few examples, I think the things are going into the right direction. I believe we have much more opportunities as we have risks. I was born in former Yugoslavia in Croatia. We are a little bit South Europe. We look on the things a little bit more relaxed. It is warm, it is sea, it is high temperature. And I really think, yes, there are some risks. I agree. But the opportunity for all of us is so beautiful. And especially for us who are somewhere around the IT industry, I'm pretty sure we made a good job because we can change the industries. And that is what is really happening. It's not about IT. It's about helping our customers to change the things. And something what I am personally focused with everything what I do. Even if I sell only the storage to my customers, I want to enable human progress. And that is why we are all here. And 2 or 3 examples. The digital health is the most thing where we can work together. Let me share something. There are very deep analysis done. The success average rate of a doctor in Europe is still less than 10%. That his first message, what he believes you have, will be right. He is in many cases still not correct because he doesn't have a data. If you use the data analytics and really modern IT, this rate of a success is going to the 49%. And I believe in the connection between the doctor and the technology, we can go to the next level. Do I really want a computer to speak with me alone? No, I don't want. I want to do that with the doctor. I trust him. He went through very good trainings and education and university. But I also want to give the technology to this doctor to go. Self-driving cars is a lot of things. We are in Germany, and I took this example, and I will show later a few examples. Why is that important? And I believe that will change also the world. There are many other things, but I have to raise the hand. If you would ask me today, what is the most important thing in the IT and in the business in the next 10 years, it is security. I read from a few days ago, somebody said there are 1 million attacks every day to our networks. That is 350 million every year. And if only 10% is successful, it is 35 million times that somebody went in our networks, in your network, in my network. And that is where we collectively have to work together. What we did last year, with several thousand companies around the globe, was asking themselves, hey, how do you see your business? How do you see development? How do you see IT? An unbelievable outcome was almost 50% of them said, I don't know how my business would look like. Everybody is afraid about similar effects as Uber, as Airbnb, and similar things. That are the most known examples, but not only one. And what I'm suggesting is, I was analyzing the startup scene in Europe and in Germany. We all know these few Americans who became very big, or some from China, but if you look in Europe, there are many small startups, but that are not really big, who were successful. That means let us help with the traditional experience, what we have as an industry, and with the disruptive ideas to make the world better. A small surprise. One colleague of mine asked me, why do you have a Volvo? It's not a German car, you are German. And I said, look, if I put Mercedes, Mercedes will ask me why you don't have a BMW. If I put BMW, they will ask me why you don't have a VW. And then I said, let me go to the friends from Sweden, and I pick up the Volvo. But that's not my point. I will say you following. if you analyze, we say always software is eating the world. We see that as a Dell Technologies, as an owner of VMware, of Pivotal. It's unbelievable what these cool companies are doing. And the software is really the main thing. Can you imagine that the software in the car is already today, and we still don't have autonomous driving, is 5 times more complex as a F-16 airplane. In an average car today, you have 100 million lines of the software code. That's a lot of stuff. I was, as a young student, a programmer in an Infomix. I don't know, did I have 1,000 lines? I'm not sure, maybe less. 100 million is a lot. And F-16 has 25 million lines, 5 times or 4 times less. And I'm taking now the less complex example. It's airplane. The car would be more complex. And telling you, on top of these 25 million lines in the software, there are 6 million mechanical parts. How do I know that? Because we are also a storage company, and we are proud also to deal with the data, and we know, working with our customers, how complex all of that is. But the question is, does the pilot know how all of that is working? Can you do the test? If you are leaving a plane, ask the pilot this question. I did it after I got this recommendation. I didn't find one pilot, and I'm flying almost every week somewhere, who answered me, yes, I know how all of that works. But I have even more scary question. Is the pilot driving the machine? Or are we already, we are talking about autonomous driving, we are already flying with an autonomous flight, and there is a lot of good technologies about that. And I have a proof for that. What was my hypothesis? It's all about the customer, and the security is important. If you go back in the 30s year, as all this airplanes starting to fly between US and Europe and Asia and Africa, there was 1 dead person per 1 million miles. And that was not good. But now, look today, that is 1 dead person per 2 billion miles. It is still bad that we have incidents in the cars or in the planes, but it is 2,000 times safer today. A part of that is a process, it is a politic, making the flying more secure, but the most part is a technology. And why to be afraid about the future? We already have a proof in the last almost 100 years that usage of the technology can help us. And now back to the next very German example with the cars. What do you believe? The percentage of the mechanical failure is the root cause for the incidents. We have this data from the insurance companies. Give me an example. How much do you mean? Percentage, 5, 15, 60? Okay, very close. It is much less. 3% of the incidents are the mechanical mistakes. And 94% is a human error. By the way, that's not my family name. It's very similar, but there are 2 R. I have only 1 R. Take care. Okay. And it will get more worse. And I'm bringing now again the hypothesis. The chaos can be pretty big in the traffic. Are you traveling around London or Paris or Frankfurt or Berlin? It's pretty big issue. 2010, we had worldwide 40 cars or vehicles per 1,000 people. In 2035, the projection is we will have 300 cars. That means the chaos will be even bigger. And it is already a lot of traffic everywhere. And now I said, I want to give some provocative ideas. I do not believe we as human beings can manage this chaos in the traffic, in the airplanes, in the healthcare. We have to trust a little bit technology and to give the control from the human control a little bit to the software running on our systems. Now, the next topic is to make it even more complicated. Even I'm coming from the company which is not only but very infrastructure related, and we are proud about that. Everybody speaks about consulting and cloud. Consulting and cloud has to run on the infrastructure, and we are proud to do this stuff. But the real important topic in the life of the business, of your business, is the application. That is the connection between your customer and my infrastructure. And the ecosystems of the applications is becoming unbelievably complex. And even I am making my money with infrastructure. I'm pointing all of us to speak with our end customers much more about the application, about the software, about the agile development, about the platform as a service. And as an outcome of that, we will help you to make the right decision for the right infrastructure. Back to the study, what we asked the customers. The one message of many was 50% said, I don't have any idea where my business is going. But then we asked them, hey, where you are in the IT transformation? And only 5%, and that was really a very serious study, asking every CEO, every CIO, every CFO of thousands of the companies around the world, okay? 5% said, I'm good. 42% said, I'm evolving. And 41%, I'm emerging, whatever that means, okay? That means the good news is the most are moving in the right direction. The second good news is we as IT have a good opportunity to make the business, to make much more people who did it. But the bad news is we are all talking about new stuff, also here during the CeBIT, but only 5% of our customers are telling us, I'm done, you did a good work with me. That's a good opportunity for all of us, isn't it? Good. And look, even I forgot, I prepared that slide, the opportunity for all of us, whatever you are doing, are you the IT department of your customer, are you a businessman, are you any IT company around the world, the opportunity for all of us is really huge. There is one big company, and I will use now a few examples of the companies where I was working on, and all of them are public references. That means I have a okay from the customer to mention the name. And this message is, you can find it also in the YouTube. The CEO of General Electric, Jeff Immelt, a really cool guy, a really cool business guy, he said, you go in the bed last night as an industrial company, and you wake up in the morning as a software and analytics company. And that is exactly what we did with them. There is a piece of the Dell technology which I really like, is a pivotal, where we are helping them with our platform, our data analytics, our software, to analyze where, at what point in the time, in which part of the world, an engine will be broken, and we do the maintenance in advance to avoid the issue. That is something really nice. And back to the cars, do you know what is really the autonomous driving? It is following change. In the past, we drive the car, and I still like to drive the car. But in the future, the cars will drive us. That's all about autonomous driving. We have everything else to solve. But there is nothing which will be unique and always one solution. And I use always 2 or 3 examples. I'm a big friend of democratization in the IT. If you take newspapers, okay, you're working for Deutsche Welle, correct? I like Deutsche Welle, but I also like other German stations. I like Americans. I like UK. I look also at Japanese news sometimes. Even I don't understand, I look at. And the same thing will be in IT. We will have different things. Somebody asked me why Dell Technologies portfolio is so big. And I answered very simple, because the amount of the applications is so big, and you need always the best infrastructure for your application. But I think we have, I took here the car example or plane example, but I believe that is very similar in every singular industry. The technology is already done, but there are few things which can be better. The first one is connectivity. Whatever you do with the autonomous driving, with the healthcare, with the airplane, you need good connectivity. That is the one thing which is today not completely done around the world, even not in the developed countries. The second one is security, as mentioned, software, maps, and the intelligence. Do you know the story which I heard? I don't know if it is true. As Barack Obama was last year here, then he and Angela Merkel spoke about autonomous driving and made a little bit critic to IT and car industry. Why is that not faster? And one of the CEOs took 2 cars and said, here's Angela, here's Barack Obama. I don't know if the story is true, but the story is good. And said, okay, it is ice on the street and a lot of snow, and software recognized it has to come to incidents. You cannot avoid it more, and somebody has to die. Who will make a decision? Who will die? That means there are still a lot of ethical questions, and we will solve it, but we have to work on that. Another example, Columbia Only one example. It's not more about the training suite. It is about the data in the cloud, collecting how much I run. Obviously, I didn't run enough, as you can see, but I will prove it. And that is my favorite example. Do you know, if you work in a company as you see every industry. You see the insurance, the finance, the cars. The most complex IT is everywhere in the agriculture, about the animals. That is the most complex IT. And to work in this industry and really to help the agriculture to be more safe, to be more successful, but also to be more protected to these animals is unbelievable amount of the data collection, very fast IT, and a lot of business benefit for all of these people. One of the biggest examples where I said, wow, I did something good, if you sell your entire technology to the company and they do the surgery remotely. It was an urgent case, and there are not many doctors for these specific surgeries around the world, and he did it remotely. That changed completely my view on the world and on the technology. There was a doctor directly in the other hospital and one remotely. And I believe that is the future where we have to go. Last example, custom example, public reference. What you see here is a library of Vatican. We did a beautiful project there, and it's a little bit about my technology, advertising, but it's much more about society and human progress. We did a digitalization of almost all books or many books in the Vatican Library. The one huge benefit is the entire science around the world can use the books from the last 2,000 years. That's the first huge benefit. But the second one is even more interesting, what I was surprised. 85% of the books in the biggest library of the world, oldest library of the world, was never open. I repeat, 85% of the books were never open. That means not only that we are giving access to these customers to the 15% books, what somebody already read it, we are giving access to the 85% of the books through Dell Technologies technology, which never have been open. Nobody read it in the past, and that's a cool stuff. And now, a very important thing. We are talking about software, and I have a new hypothesis. Software is over. We need a mathematics. I am telling my kids, skip the software development, learn it a little bit. The mathematics is the new things. And if you really, it's not enough to have a chief digital officer. It's not enough to have a cool CIO. All of that is important. We need a CEO, your bosses, my boss, who is nerd. I'm very proud that my boss, Michael Dell, is very mathematical and very nerd, and I learned a lot of him. I apologize for not politically correct picture, and I'm serious. There are cigarettes on this picture. I recognized that today morning. But if that is okay, let me make a joke. It was a good TV series, isn't it, with a madman? And I said, a madman is a new madman. Okay? Think about it. If you have a kids, or you still want to go to university, and I did it last week, I went to university and asked how I can go back to the mathematics course. At the end of the day, I'm now coming for the last few minutes. Let me be open. It is good to have good examples. I gave you some ideas to think, if you agree. But at the end of the day, we cannot underestimate the importance of the technology, the importance of the architecture. I believe that's very important. And where we are now, all of us, is somewhere in the middle. We are not in the green area. What that means concrete, there are three things what we are dealing with. The first one, the capability of the technology is growing unbelievably, 10 times every year. I don't know. I read it in 2031, we will have 1,000 times more capability as today. That's a huge thing. But then through the democratizations of IT, everybody has to work with everybody. We have to take complexity out of the IT. It is too complex. We need it. The smartphones are the best example. Why we are using that so much? It is simple, and it is always up and running. There's no ITIL about smartphone. It is still working. And the last thing which I was surprised, I always thought, bringing new stuff, we will going down with the need for the taking cost out. IT is still a cost center, and with the full respect to my idea of IT is business, business is IT, and we as a Dell Technologies are helping, the costs are still important. That means we have to find a balance, taking costs out and investing in the new stuff. The second hypothesis is coming from Gartner, to be very honest, not from me. We have to know, are we speaking about the traditional applications or are we speaking about the cloud-native applications? If you don't know what are you talking about, you will fail. You will not have the right process, not the right price, and not the right technology. And what I said is application is very important. Applications are running much more on a cloud. But whatever you do, it is always infrastructure under your cloud. It is always infrastructure under your application. To help all of us, we defined 4 topics where we as a company are focusing. We are doing a lot of other stuff, but there are 4 things which we're focusing. One is the workforce transformation. We want to make our work environments much easier, much better. Of course, as a Dell Technologies, with all these beautiful client solutions, we have advantage to do that. But the second one is with the Pivotal, with the VMware. I will come back in a second to that, to do the real digital transformation. And the digital transformation means there is no need for stopping the process. Everything is seamless. But before doing all of that, let us be very open. We still have a lot of old ITs in all our data centers. We have to do IT transformation before going up, and all of that, please, as mentioned several times, secure as we can. Now, there are 3 things in the IT transformation, what we are focusing. I started very high level, and I'm going now a little bit down and down and down. We have to modernize what we have today. The modern application need better and faster technology. We have to automate everything. That is taking costs out. That is what we are doing with the Pivotal, with VMware. But at the same time, what we forget, it's all about people. We have to speak about people. Many years ago, I was storage and Unix administrator. Anybody who was using VI in the room? Hey, I need a hand. That was a good time. However, I spent several years to read and to learn what it means to be consultant, then to be manager, then to be leader. That means to speak about our people. We can't forget them. With respect to all my technology, which is great, we need to spend the time on the people. Now, I will skip a little bit these things, and maybe one of the last slides for today. I said I will go briefly only in my technology. I avoid to use the products of my company in public presentations. It's about sharing the ideas. But there are 2 or 3 things which are, fortunately for me, but also good for society, de facto standard, what all of us are using every day, even not to knowing that. One of these things is VMware. VMware is really one of the most de facto standards in the virtualization. But what these guys are doing now, as a part of the Dell Technologies family, is moving to be the virtualized cloud, the first platform where you can really move a big workload from A to B to C, giving the opportunity to you as a customer to be flexible. The second one is a Pivotal. Pivotal is doing 2 or 3 things, but one of them is a cloud foundry, which we set up, very proud, with HP and IBM. In the meantime, there are many others, which is really platform for the developers. Many of people outside connect us always with the storage or with the laptop, forgetting that we have these 2 diamonds in our portfolio. And the last thing for today, it's maybe surprised. We are helping mainly on-premise in your data centers, in the data centers of our different partners. But we also own the first public cloud for enterprise applications as a SAP, as a Oracle. That's a beautiful small company, VirtuStream. I'm recognizing again and again that many people don't know that, and therefore I'm taking a liberty to do a little bit advertising. And now, the last topic, if I may. 3 last topics. The first one, stay hungry. My technology is good. A good friend of me, Sven, is coming after myself also great technology. I like a competition. Of course, I like more to win in the competition as a Dell technologist. But the most important thing is, if we said we want to be successful as an ecosystem, we have to stay hungry. And the second thing, which I'm asking the people to change, the silos are not good things. The layers are not good things. Maybe for the cake, but we have to work together. We have to work together within the IT department. We have to work together as an ecosystem serving the customer. At the end of the thing, think outside of the box. Try new things. Try my technology, try his technology, make the last things. And the takeaways. Digital transformation is real. It is not buzzword. It is not only marketing work. It is real. It is happening. I asked my daughter 3 years ago, she asked me what is cloud, and I described how as good as I can. And then she said, what else does exist? And I recognized why. She never stored one single file on her laptop. Everything what my daughter is doing is somewhere outside, by eBay, by Google, by Amazon, whatever this by in my company. That is real thing happening outside. The second one, focus on the business outcomes. We will provide you good technology. All of us don't care about it. And we know right technology for the right application. But think about the business outcome. Think how I started the presentation. What is the end customer expecting from you? And the last thing of many, I think we really know as a collective society how to run traditional applications. And they will still be important in the future. But think about the cloud-native applications. That is where the world is going, and we can help you on this way with the Dell Technologies as a family of a different business. Thank you. My goal for today was to share a little bit provocative ideas, to share a few examples where I was working, and very briefly to present a beautiful company that I'm working for, DellEMC and Dell Technologies. Thank you so much.
Dinko, thank you. Where do you get all your energy from?
That's how I am.
That's
I
how you
love what I do.
Yeah.
I believe that is so good to be in this time, in this industry. My first computer was ZX81.
Yeah.
And if I compare that with today and have this privilege to go through this way,
right.
I believe my kids are not so happy. That's normal for them because they grow up with that. And for me, I'm so happy. And my employees are giving me, and my customers, the energy.
Let me just, one question before we let you go. Do you find that when a lot of CEOs or managers, executives, agree that the whole digitalization of the economy is happening and they think it is transforming their industry, but they don't think it is transforming their company? Do you see that dichotomy?
No. Absolutely. Huge and positive change happened in the business in the last 3 years.
Okay.
3 years ago, I was not happy talking with the CEOs and CIOs. A new generation came, which is in the line with the title of my presentation. Business is IT, IT is business, and they recognize that.
Okay.
I have unbelievably positive feeling talking with the business people around the globe.
Good. Dinko, thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause,
Thank
everyone.
you.